What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. What I wanted to do was, I've had a lot of people asking a couple questions about my UI. It has updated a little bit, and so what I wanted to do is just kind of go over exactly what I'm using in-game with you and kind of show you just the options panels, how they work, and just kind of give you a quick overview of all that kind of stuff. So first off, the one that I'm still kind of waiting on is this one. This one is called Recount. It's just a damage meter. I am debating on switching to SCADA because that way I can have damage and healing open at the same time. Um, Again, the only reason I'm using this one is because this one counts your absorbs and your healing done, and the last time I was using SCADA, it did not. And so it was kind of a pain to see how healers were doing. Especially with all the different like heals with absorbs and everything else. I didn't like that about SCADA. It was really a bad tale compared to when you went on the logs later and you saw all these different numbers for healing. It just the way that World of Logs works is almost identical to Recount. So that's the only reason that I use it, is because it seems to be a pretty almost exact indicator. Like it's normally within 500 DPS HPS of whatever it says on World of Logs. Typically Recount is that close. SCADA, I've seen 3 to 5K difference. And that's just, it doesn't help you. I shouldn't have to be able to go on World of Logs every time I want to see if somebody was doing something maybe a little worse or a little bit better. So that's why I use this. Now, the only reason that I would use SCADA is so that I can have damage over here, and I can have healing right here, so I can keep an eye on both all the time. However, as a raid, you know what I mean? If you're leading a raid, that's probably a good idea. But again, as healing, when I'm heal leading, it doesn't really matter. So that's why I try to just kind of stay with my class. I focus on my job. If I'm doing my job better, hopefully everybody's doing their own job, and I'll let the other raid leaders and the other people in the guild handle that. That's not what my job is. So that's why I use Recount. Okay, that's the first one. As you can see, my UI is pretty clean, okay? And what all this is, like this map up here, this loot window, and this general tab over here, even my bars are all class colored. I've got my overlay options on here. This is all called ElvUI, okay? It's available at tuckui.org. However, for the last couple of days, their site's been down. I don't know if they're having problems, so I'm going to be a little weary of that until I see that site come back up. But I will show you, once you install it, this is where the option panel is. It's this little C up in the corner, okay? I have integrated buffs so I can see exactly what I'm missing at all times. It makes them real nice and tiny, and I don't have to worry about them cluttering up my screen. This is what the interface looks like, okay? This is exactly what you're going to be using to mess around with it. Toggle anchors. If you do this right and you go to all, you can move anything and this really works for almost everything, guys. If you're a PvPer, if you're a PvEer, it doesn't really matter. You can literally move anything that you want: pet frames, totems, bars, stances, target of target, your extra action button, cast bars, arena frames, boss frames. You can literally move anything. Yeah. It's that good. So that's why I use it. It's just extremely customizable, and then that's just how to move stuff. Okay, you can go through tutorials. You can do any of, like, this is just the general tab. Okay, but as you can see, it's got action bars, so you can do the keybind text. You can go into keybind mode, so you can keybind all your keys. I have a Razer Naga, so that's what I use. So it's very nice for me to have this integrated bartender that I can keybind all my Naga keys right to all my keys on there. As you can see, I have my 1 through 12, and then my shift 1 through 12, and then I have my all my cooldowns and everything are pretty just a flick of a mouse wheel or a quick click of a button, and they're all good to go. The reason that I like integrating the Naga with ElvUI is very simple. It's because it's extremely useful. If I don't have to look down to see, you know what I mean? It's a little bit different. If you're a clicker, get a Naga, because it will change the way you play. You should never be a clicker. You should be a keybinder. But if you can't, if you're like me and you like to, you know what I mean? Like, you're used to just using your your mouse, get a Naga, because there's so many more buttons, guys, on your thumb that once you get used to it, it opens your raid awareness tenfold, because you're not looking down at your bars, you're not looking down here when you should be looking up at your raid, right? You're focusing on your surroundings because you've become proficient with where all your buttons are. So you're just looking around the entire time. I don't have to worry about anything. I can just scroll and do everything that I want, and I never have to look down. Oh, I need innervate, bam. Oh, I need my trinket, bam. Oh, I have it all right there. Okay, that's how it works. That's why I really like this. And again, you can go through all the action bars and decide how you want them to work. If you want cooldown text, the other nice thing that this does, it allows you to delete a lot of other add-ons. Like I used to have quartz. I used to have the cooldown timer. I don't remember the name of it. Omni CC. I used to have that one. Tidy plates, bartender, Citrina buff frames. All these can be literally deleted. Pitbull or any unit frame add-on, all these can be deleted if you get LWI. It's a nice lightweight package, and it's got everything you need. It's super easy to set up. Like, it'll go through an actual walkthrough with you on how to set it up. It's amazingly simple. So check it out, guys. It's really worth it. I recommend it a lot. Again, you can go through your bags. This is what your bags look like. As you can see, I'm a little low on gold on this tune, as I bought. Let's see if I can get it out for you guys real quick. We had the entire our core officer group all made those Panthers last night. Our jewel crafter is our guild jewel crafter is our guild leader, and so we all went out and bought all this stuff and had him make them. Now, I don't know why this is all. It's all in a weird order. Huh. Okay. Oh, whatever. Here it is, and this is the Gold Panther. I really like this one. I think this is a really cool looking mount, especially when you're flying and you're moving around. It's got like the little feet thing. I think that's really cool. So, but anyway, back to the UI stuff. Sorry for the sidetrack. Next up is my healing add-on. Oops, camera went out of whack. Is my healing add-on. Okay, now what add-on am I using for healing? There we go. What add-on am I using for healing? Voodoo. That's what this is. I did change from Healbot. I do not use Healbot anymore. Voodoo does take a little bit to set up, guys. There are videos on how to set up Voodoo. I'm not going to make one because there's good ones out there, and it's kind of a pain. But you are going to have to watch them if you install Voodoo. It's really essential. However, once you get Voodoo set up, you get this nice little button here, just to show you what it kind of looks like in like 10-man. Let's do 25-man. Just so you can see what it looks like in a possible raid. You can see like guys who need to be dispelled, AFKs, deads, low health, kind of how everything looks during like an actual raid. You can set up as many bars as you want. Some people will have the tanks on one bar, on one separate bar, and then group 1 and group 2. I found that in 10-man I really don't need it, especially when you're raiding with the same people every single day. You kind of get used to, you know, their names and where they are and everything else, so it's kind of easy. But you can sort, you can do a lot of other things. This is like all your debuffs, all your panels where you want them to anchor everything, and again, like sizing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, guys. Look at all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you have to set up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna take you a half hour. It's gonna take you a half hour, 45 minutes to really sit down, watch all the videos, and get everything set up the way that you want it. But once it's set up, it makes Healbot look like a toy. All right. So what does it look like in action? I'll just heal myself real quick for you. As you can see, I made my icons a little bit bigger so I know exactly who's got my life blooms, rejuves, swiftmen. Now this is my and this kind of brings us to the next add-on. Okay, but that's the one who uses Voodoo. The next add-on is called Tell Me When. Okay, what I have here is this is my mastery. I have it as my first icon always right next to my healer in rating, so that way I know if I'm running low on mastery. Okay, that's the only reason I have it right there. It's so that I can make sure that my mastery has 100% uptime. And I always know, like, because for sometimes there's fights where, like, you're really running around a lot, you're spreading hots, like, maybe if you pop Incarnation, and you're putting life blooms in everybody, don't forget to use your Omen of Clarity procs, not only because they're free, but also because you want to make sure that this never falls off, because that makes your hots tick faster. Um, so this is my trinket when my Brewfest trinket procs. I have the haste proc there, so I know that that's up. If I pop my Nature's Vigil, it's right there, so I know if that procs. And like I said, I have all my procs right there for me. Now I'll show you how to set one up, because there is one that I actually saved to set up for you guys, because I am switching kind of in the middle sometimes of raids. I'm switching between Incarnation and Soul of the Forest. So all you have to do is just bring up Tell Me When, okay? And this is for my Incarnation, so I know when my Incarnation buff is up, and it'll give me a countdown for when it's off. It's super simple, super lightweight, and this is all you have to do to change them. So this was when I had my old trinket, right? Well, I don't want that anymore. Now what I want is called, let's see what Soul of the Forest is. I don't know if there's a buff, so let's find out, okay? Oh, it's just called Soul of the Forest. See this ID under here, guys? 114108. Okay? So if I 114108, move this back over. Soul of the Forest. Bam. Okay, who to watch it on? Player. It's a buff, and I want to show the timer. So now I click OK. I type in Tell Me When again to bring that away. So let's do this. Let's get these up. Let's throw our mastery out. Bam. Soul of the Forest. See? And now, so now I know that I have it, right? But it's not... Will it go away? Yeah, it will. So now you know that once you have Soul of the Forest, that's your timer that you need to make sure that you cast that, okay? But that tells me that it's up. So the next time Regrowth, or I'm sorry, the next time Swiftmen's up, bam, I'm casting Swiftmen. Bam, I'm casting my Rejuve, so now I'm getting all those extra Rejuve ticks on me. Hitting like a truck, as you can see. It's really, really neat how it works, guys. But it's such a nice add-on to have. And that's really as easy as to set up. Like, it comes that easy to set up right out of the box. You just simply throw a, there's my mastery. Again, there's my Soul of the Forest. There's my Wild Growth rocking the raid. There's my haste proc. Oh my gosh. Like, that's how easy it is, guys. It's literally right out of the box. That's how simple it is to work. So all you have to do is literally just sit on a training dummy, or if you're a healer, just sit around and heal yourself till the buff that you want comes up. And all you have to do is see how there's an ID under it? That's what Tell Me When does. It puts an ID under there so that you know exactly what ID number it is. So then when you go in to Tell Me When, you just click on one instead of choosing the spell, because sometimes like Velocity, for example, in DS, there was like 6 trinkets that used the term Velocity. So you had to figure out which one it was. That's why they put the ID in there, so you don't have to type in the spell name. You just type that in, and it'll bring it up. You click it. If you want to show the timer, again, you just show there. And it's that simple, guys. It's such a nice quality of life add-on. And again, the only reason that I'm using it is because LBUI will initially put all your buffs and everything right above your character. Just see, like you see here, they'll all be here. Your food buff, your flask, any procs, literally anything that you have on you, and so it'll go this high in a raid. Well, I don't want this much of my screen blocked out, and then have to like squint and read through them, because I don't want to make them bigger, because that's not going to help me, right? So I turned those off, and I went in and I got this little add-on, because that way, and I can move these wherever I want, because I can make them huge, I can make them really, really tiny, but typically I like them right about there. And again, you can move them anywhere you want. So if I wanted to put everything like right underneath me, I've got that going right there. And then that way I know anytime anything procs, it's right there for me. I like to keep mine right here for right now. I may end up moving them down here. It really doesn't matter. where you put them. It's wherever it's easier for you. The thing that you want to make sure that you're putting where you're putting them, guys, is not somewhere that's gonna really bug you. Okay. See how, like, can I still see underneath me when it's right there? Yeah, I can. So now I know exactly what buffs I have, and I can still see where I'm at. So I don't have to worry about stuff popping up underneath me, standing in the poo, anything else, because I've got all my buffs right there. I've got all my spells keybind. I've got my voodoo right here, so my eyes are on my screen. That's the reason that I have all these add-ons. It's not because I dislike any of the other ones. It's because this gives me the clearest screen. And the other thing cool that you can do in Raid, check this out with LBIs, guys. I don't know if a lot of you know this. Check this out down here. Bam. Bam. Get rid of all that. I mean, look at that. I mean, and if you don't care about what the meters say, bam. And that's what you're dealing with during a raid. I mean, how cool is that, guys? Look at all that room that I have. I mean, that's just an empty screen. That's me and the raid encounter. That's all I have to pay attention to. And to get them to come back up, it's just a matter of clicking and clicking and clicking, and we're back up. But I wanted to give you guys a quick breakdown because I've had a lot of people ask me about my add-ons. So I decided to do a video. Anyway, guys, if you have any other questions, I'm trying to think if there's any other add-ons that I'm really using. I do use Whim, but that's not really a rating add-on. That's just for my chat. I use Auctionator. Again, doesn't matter about raid. DBM, obviously. Make sure that you guys have a boss mod, whether it's DBM or Big Wigs or whatever it is. Make sure that you have something. There's no reason not to. If you're really serious about raiding, it makes your life so much easier. Please don't be bad and not have that. A lot of raids will even require you to have it. But the reason I chose these add-ons, guys, is because it makes kind of everything a lot easier. Okay, it really does. Like, and the nice other thing about LBUI is that you can show different things down here. You can show whatever you want, but it just kind of makes everything a little bit simpler. You know, a little bit easier to manage. It makes everything kind of really clean on your screen, and especially when you're recording and when you're raiding, and especially if you're doing both, you want to make sure that the viewers and that yourself, that you can see as much as you can without cluttering up your interface. That's really one of the biggest things too, is to make sure that, you know, whatever you choose, that you customize it so it's in a clean spot, it's in a place that you feel comfortable with it. It's not in your way. It's not going to inhibit you from doing your job or standing or something, or not being able to see what you need to see for whatever class you're playing. But yeah, those are my main add-ons, guys. Again, we'll go over them. This LBUI is the main user interface one. Recount, Deadly Boss Mods, Voodoo, and Tell Me When. Those are my 5 like core staple ones. Again, there's tons of videos on how to set each of those individual add-ons up, and I've watched them all. I'm not going to do an individual video on them all for you. I just want to give you a brief overview of what I'm using because a bunch of you asked. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.